Hello Art Club, and welcome to week 3 of our fall session of Art Club. Today we will be making styrofoam prints. So in your kit for today's folio you'll find the big piece of styrofoam and the other papers that you'll need for this project. I'm going to be going through each step in this video, and it's also outlined very clearly in the Google Doc that I have emailed and posted in our Google Classroom. All the steps are there, very detailed. So you can use either resource, this video and the doc, either one or both together. And I'm very excited to share this project with you. So this is the styrofoam. This is the bird that I made out of the styrofoam. I'm going to be making bird prints today. And I'm going to show you the final art as we kick off this project, just so you can see where we're headed with all these steps. So let's jump in. All right, here we are. This is the final project. This is what we'll be working our way towards with all these steps. The first thing we need to do is get our step-by-step sheet handy or printed or visible on your screen, and we need a piece of sketch paper and a pencil. So as you can see here, I've broken down all the steps. Very easy, very fun to draw a bird. You're going to want to make the bird as big as possible. It'll be much easier to cut him out, much easier to stamp if you can make him a really nice big size. So try to fill up the paper if you can. So this first shape here, it looks like a big smiley face, or it looks like a bowl of cereal, a slice of apple. Think about it in those terms and it'll be a lot easier to draw. Okay, big smiley face. The bird's head is like a circle, and it's pretty much halfway through the top of the smiley face shape. So right here I'm going to draw a circle. Make it a nice size, don't make it too tiny. The tail is a triangle shape, like a piece of pizza. That's the shape. Okay, so I'm going to pop that tail out, make it nice and long. Okay, make it a kind of a wide triangle so it's easier to cut out. All right, so we've got those steps. Next step looks like the wings. The wings, again, just triangles. This one starts kind of towards the back of his chin. This one starts towards the front of his chin. So let's see, I'll start here. Make the wing as big as you can. Just a big triangle, that's all. 1, 2, 3, done. This one kind of starts down here, comes down. Let's see, I want to make it go out to like all the way out to there. All right, there's his other wing. Done. His beak. I like to turn things around when I'm drawing. Sometimes it helps me see the shapes better. To me, this looks like the letter M. Make a nice wide letter M. Again, it'll be easier to cut it out and stamp on it later. His eye, you can do any sort of an eye that you'd like. I chose to do he looks like he's smiling, maybe he's singing a song. There we go. I will go in and I will add these details. I like that one, like that. Just some simple little designs here. All right, now that I've done that in pencil, I am going to go ahead and Sharpie this bird that I just drew on the sketch paper. I'm going to Sharpie all the things so I can get rid of maybe some of these guidelines. That would be a guideline. This wing back on the other side of his body. We don't need to see that right now. This little piece of his back can go. And let's see, this is all going to be one part. Make things easier. All right, so there's our bird. What you're going to do now, you're going to go over the whole thing with Sharpie that's in your kit. All right, once your bird is all Sharpied, you are going to take this, put it under your scratch foam. That's that skinny, funny little piece of foam. Put the foam on top of the bird that you just Sharpied, and you're going to take this to a window and tape it to the window. If you pop the sketch a little bit above, you can just tape it at the same time. So I am going to use a light box which simulates what you will see with the window. All right, so as you can see now, I can see it a little bit. It would be a little challenging to try to trace this through this thicker foam, but if I put it up to the window, or in my case, the light box, much easier to see. Much easier. And I'm going to just attach it with a little piece of tape so it doesn't move around on me. Now you're going to take a pencil for this next step, and you're tracing your Sharpied bird design onto the foam. You're just trying to trace it on there now. You're not doing all the deeper line work. You're just getting the basic drawing onto the foam. All right, we've got the entire bird sketched onto the foam. Sometimes I lift it up and down like this just to make sure I haven't missed anything, and it looks like it's all there. So now I can go ahead and take it off my window, or in my case, my light box, and I can finish up deepening these lines on my desk. So for this next step, if you would like to use a pen or a slightly dulled pencil, that's what you will need for this next step. I like the dulled pencil. So you're just going to go in, back into your sketch here, go over it at least 3 times. So I like to make little, kind of go little by little. And just imagine you're digging a hole in the sand. You would dig the whole hole out at once, right? You'd go little by little. So it's very similar to that. And we're just digging until we get these lines nice and deep. You can almost feel the table under your pencil, and that's how you know you've gone as deep as you can go. And just go little by little. Be patient with this part. Just enjoy the process. Okay, there we have it. My lines are nice and deep, and I am ready for the next step. Our next step will be, you're going to add some details in these shapes. Otherwise, it'll just be almost like a silhouette. So we want to go in and add some interesting little details. You could add little dots or dashes, patterns, line work, shapes. All right, I've added some shapes to break up the space. All the line work that I've done and that I've carved into the foam, all of those lines will be white when we print. The ink will sit on the top, on the white part. So the next step is to carefully cut out your bird. leaving a little bubble of white around it. So just so you can see what I mean. So when I say a bubble, we don't want to hurt this line work that we just spent all that time doing. We want to be able to see that when we print. So you're going to leave like a little bubble, a little force field of white around it. If accidentally maybe a wing or the beak gets cut off, you can put it back together and tape it from the back and it'll be just fine. We've done that plenty of times and they print perfectly fine, so don't worry about that. All right, so you'll need your scissors, and I did this with one of the quick sticks. If you'd like to go ahead and draw a bubble around your bird just so you can see where you could be cutting, I think it'll make it a lot easier for you. It'll be a helpful step. So I'm going to start to cut out this bird. All right, there we go. Bird is all cut out and we are ready for the next step. So just put bird aside for a moment there, and now you're going to get your big white paper. You're going to gather all your quick sticks together, your tempera sticks, and you'll need a pencil. First thing I'd like you to do is to draw a little pencil frame. You don't have to use a ruler, you can just freehand this. All right, so maybe about 1 inch or so in, as long as you have a little white piece of paper as a frame out here. It'll help cut down on some of the coloring we have to do, which is a nice thing. And it will also give us a nice little border for our artwork. And I will show you this again. So this is what I mean. It'll give you a nice white border on the background, and then when we attach this to here, it'll almost look like it has a double border. It just looks really nice. It looks finished. So you're going to create your background with the quick sticks. Think about if you'd like to do a landscape view, which is this, or if you'd like to do a portrait view. I'm going to do a landscape view. I'm going to have them kind of flying across the page here. Think about what kind of a background you'd like to do. What sort of a landscape or what sort of a design would you like to do? You could do a crazy fun forest of flowers. You could do a beach scene. It could just be designs. It's up to you. Whatever you want your background to be. All right, there we go. Our next step will be to get our red background paper. Put it under your finished Quick Sticks background paper, and you're going to staple it in each corner. Okay, our next step is to get some newspaper, and you're going to lay a piece of newspaper under the red matte paper. This is especially important if you plan on maybe running some of the birds off the page, just to add some interest to your design, some interesting cropping. I love to do that. I think it really adds interest to the composition here. All right, so before you start pouring out paint or any of that, think about where you would like to stamp. I would like you to make 3 bird stamps. So you might say, oh, but he's too big, you can't fit 3. But you can fit 3. Think about maybe popping them off the top. You could pop them off the bottom a little bit, have them flying off the side. You could have them all flying up in the air. 1, 2, 3. So that's what I'd like you to do now. Think about, and you'll be rolling on them, turning them over and stamping. So think about where you'd like to put him before you roll out any paint onto him. Do a little bit of planning first, okay? It won't take long, but it'll help you when you're putting things down. So I think I'm going to do one that way, and then I think I'll do one. Let's see, I'll do one there, and one right about here. All right, so roughly I have a plan. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you still have some temper left from our last project. Any temper will do. If you've got any color, if you've run out of black, that's fine. If you have, which is what happened to mine, if you have a little bit left in here but it's dried out a little bit, add a couple drops of water to it. Close the lid very, very tightly. Keep your hand on top. Keep your one thumb on the bottom and gently just kind of shake that around, mix it around a little bit. And that should give you plenty of paint to do this project. Just pour a little bit. You can always add more. I made mine much too runny. All right, but then that'll work just for the sake of our example here. All right, and just roll to coat your brayer. Roll carefully so you don't get too many spatters all over your family's house. Okay, and it's just tempera, so it's washable. And you're going to roll over your foam bird, the side that you did your design on. You're going to carefully pick him up. If I was doing this at home, I would be doing this off to the side so that I didn't get too much all over my artwork. All right, and you're going to flip him over, and I think I'm going to put him, I'll start with him down here. And I like it when they run off the edge, so I am going to run it off the edge a little bit. Once it's down, leave it down. Maybe you just want to give a little push to make sure it's down. And get a piece of scrap paper, even if it's another piece of newspaper. Typing paper is great. And you're going to lay it on top of the bird stamp. And you're just going to smooth and press all over the bird. Keep it steady with one hand. Smooth it out with the other hand. All right, and then when you feel like you've gone over every part of them, you can lift up your scrap paper and then just gently lift up your bird. And you will just continue these steps until you have 3 birds. Right, there you go. There's your 3 birds. And now what you could do to help your family clean up, these brayers, you'll take this apart at the sink because you may want to use it again later. They're good little brayers. I've used this one lots of times. You kind of take them apart like that. There's a little tube in there that pops out, and just gently squeeze this under running water, get all the paint out of it, and just let it dry. Same with your foam bird. Maybe you'd like to make prints of this and give them to family and friends. They would make great presents. I would wash this off gently and save it because you can make multiple prints from this. All right, I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. I love making multiple stamp prints. I'm very excited to see what you do with this project. I hope you have a great week.